You just press play on the Last Breath Huntcast, home of the Huntroversy. We're here to entertain, educate, and engage. And in case you didn't know, you only live once. But if you do it right, once is enough. Don't waste it. Happy Monday, good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Last Breath Huntcast, home of the Huntroversy, and presented by Badlands Gear. Today we've got a really good episode for you because Alan, my guest, Alan, say hello.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Is going to be recapping our turkeys that we killed this morning. Obviously, Garrett is not here, but he was also in on that as well, so definitely want to give credit where credit is due. Could not have pulled it off without Garrett. And that's going to be our topic. We're going to recap the morning, the last little 24 hours that we've had here, and the awesome turkey hunt with a really crazy ending that happened just a few hours ago. But before we do that, a couple of business things to take care of. We're going to remind you that every Monday you can listen to a new episode of our podcast at 6 a.m. on Spotify, Libsyn, and iTunes. You can listen to a brand new episode of our partner podcast, which is the Whitetail Legacy podcast, every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. So we killed 2 birds this morning. Let's talk about it. And what are we drinking on here? You said
some Knob Creek, some good old Kentucky straight bourbon, some good stuff.
And I'm not a bourbon guy, but
it's gonna grow on you.
Is this good stuff?
It's good.
How long do I have to drink this for until I acquire the taste?
How many glasses you had now? 2 maybe.
2?
So I'd say by 3 or 4 you should be all right.
Really? So just when my mouth is numb?
Basically, yeah. So if you guys could see the video of what it looked like when Grant took his first sip of it, it was it's interesting, as he did right now as well. So
every time I take a pull of whiskey, it's just I feel like it's spicy. It's got some heat.
It does. It does. It's got a little smoky. It's got a little heat, but it's good old Knob Creek, 9-year aged, good bourbon. So in a little celebration factor, we decided to bust it out and have ourselves a little sip, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, a little sip while we're doing this. I feel so gentlemanly sipping out of a whiskey glass.
The only thing missing is a stogie, which you know what I mean. But
a stogie.
But what a day! What a day! Good day to celebrate. Another great opportunity. Another great hunt had. Another great opportunity for myself to come hang with you guys. So super stoked about it. And it couldn't have went any better, and it couldn't have went any crazier.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I feel like it was a textbook turkey hunt. Last night, you got in here at about 5 o'clock, hung out, shot the breeze for a little bit, caught up, went to get some dinner. Went to put the birds to bed, and right off the property line, as they normally do, we had 2 gobblers roosted about 150 yards off our property line on the neighbors. So our strategy is to pull them, with calls and with our decoys into our field where we can shoot them then. And those birds responded well to a hoot owl call last night when we were locating them. So we landmarked those, went to a different spot, didn't hear anything there, but it was pretty windy last night, so I don't know if maybe there was a bird nearby that didn't hear us.
It's possible. It's possible. But there was 2 that reacted immediately off the first call, and that was the reason why we went back to the other area to see if there was more options. But nonetheless, we knew right off the rip where they were roosted. So
and so that's where we set up this morning. So Garrett was gonna go hunting with Logan this morning, but Logan's got to prepare because she's got a big role to play today because my fiance's bridal shower is today. And Logan had to get ready for that. So Logan also has a fifth season tag, and so does Garrett, along with you and I. But Logan couldn't make it, so Garrett goes with us. So we got to put ourselves in position to pull a true double. So we bring 2 hens, a lookout hen and a feeding hen, and we bring Teddy, but we use Teddy as the centerpiece of the love triangle.
Yes.
He's our target decoy, and he's facing, we're anticipating these turkeys to come from the east, which they did. They came about right in where we thought they would.
Yeah, textbook, actually.
And they enter the field, they see Teddy, and they start marching right in. So before we get to what actually happened, when you saw those suckers come out of the woods, what were you thinking?
Don't move. I knew right away the position we were in was going to be a good one, and the way that we had set up was angled right towards what we had wanted to happen, and it did. But just because you want something to happen, when it happens, you're still kind of like, whoa, this is really going on.
Holy shit, it's happening. It's
happening. This is it. So they came in. One came out, the second one came out, the third one came out, and as soon as the third one touched on the dirt, they beelined it right to Teddy. So the heart's racing, and the how quick they closed that 80-yard gap was slightly surprising. I've heard it. I've heard people talk about it, but watching those three birds close that gap in seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, they were on top of us. So it was get ready, heart thumping just a little bit, excitement's happening, and just making sure that you're gonna do what you're set out to do, right? But it was a fast moment.
It was a fast moment, and along with fast moments, typically when you're hunting, comes a little bit of chaos. So you see them come in the field, and they, like you said, they beeline 3 really nice long beards. Like we're talking like 11+ inch beards.
Yeah.
Really nice hooks on the birds that we shot. So we believe that they were a slightly older, more dominant tom, more aggressive tom. A couple of the bird that I shot specifically had a really busted up tail fan, so I know he wasn't probably a stranger to a fight.
The other one did too as well. 2 out of the 3 fans were pretty jacked up. I mean, they had been through some business.
Yeah, and they came rumbling right in on a string. They actually entered, which was nice, I guess. I mean, had they hung up, and been tentative, we still would have been in range because, like you said, they came in at about 80 and immediately came coming. So if they would have hung up between us and 80, we still probably would have got a shot. But they closed the distance all the way to 10 yards, which is when, we're ready to take the shot. So I'm whispering to you, all right, stay really still because we can hear these turkeys approaching the field edge where they're going to break from the cover. They're going to come out in the field. So you're doing perfect, staying nice and still. Then they come out, and then you get your gun up, and then go ahead and take us through it.
Yeah, so I get told, take the one on the left. Grant's going to take the one on the right. We had discussed it about the potential of doubling up, which would have been great, and the opportunity presented itself. So I raised my gun up, put the sight on, and pull that trigger, and whap! Shoot low. Shoot right between the doggone legs of the bird. He goes flying off to his right, our left. The second one cuts out. Grant pulls his gun real fast, shoots the second one. I rechamber one, trying to get the one that I originally had missed because he wasn't all but 15, 20 more yards off to my left at this particular point, starting to become airborne where, and so I chamber another one, throw another one. Missed on that one, but nonetheless couldn't believe what had just transpired because I should have barrel rolled this thing at about 10 yards. But things all work out in the end. But it happened incredibly fast. But the communication was great. It was just a pull shot, but we had said it. We watched the 3 come in. I took the left, you took the right, and it all just kind of it worked itself out. Yours barreled, big puff of feathers go flying up in the air. Grant smokes his, you know what I mean? It's a great shot, and so mine goes taking off, flies up in the air. I watch him fly off up in there, and I see him land about 150-ish yards away, but then I take my eyes off of him because I see Grant's bird 16 steps away or what have you, or even closer than that. And the excitement turns to that bird on the ground at that point. So no longer are there eyes on him anymore. Move past it, suck it up. You pulled the shot.
And Garrett and I were talking about it too. It's like normally when we go hunting, we don't have an opportunity for a true double. We've doubled a lot of times before in the same day, meaning we've killed 2 separate individual turkeys. But in terms of a double, other than the couple I accidentally shot with one shot, a few years back, we have never 1, 2, 3'd it essentially and killed multiple birds with different people with different tags that are coming in the same group. So that was cool. Just having that third extra person to, Garrett was there filming. I would imagine that it was pretty chaotic from his view too, because those 3 were coming in. And in hindsight, I think Garrett was totally right. Garrett said after we had shot, like, man, you guys took him early. And I was like, yeah, I guess I was thinking a bird in the hand's better than 2 in the bush kind of thing. Like, they're right here. Let's go ahead and lay them flat.
10 yards is 10 yards. When any animal at 10 yards in front of you is you take the shot.
And Garrett's thing was, well, they were coming in to rumble with Teddy, and my he's totally right. They were coming in to pick a fight. They were coming in to thump Teddy's ass and try to, potentially breed with the hen. Who knows what would have happened? Hindsight's always 20/20. But we were able to, we were able to shoot them right as soon as they reached the decoy spread, which was nice. But I think he's right. I think they would have played around, and we could have probably gotten to a situation where they go in a strut and took a couple circles around Teddy, a couple circles in through the decoys, and then we could have communicated maybe better and said, hey, you take the one on the left just as planned, I'll take the one on the right. But we could have shot him more on our time, because right about as we shot, they were running in right at us. We're facing the decoys, we're 10 yards away, and then they put the brakes on, and as they put the brakes on right at our decoys, that's when we shot. So I think he's right. I think if we would have let him play ball with the decoy spread, we could have had a more on our time kind of thing of a shot opportunity for both of us to actually 1, 2, 3, boom, lay the hammer down. But the way it worked out wasn't too bad anyway. So your Tom takes off, goes airborne, and we do lose sight of him because we're focused on, like, this bird that I shot is flopping to the left.
Yeah.
So he's flopping. So it's a good thing. Like, hey, we got a turkey down. Cool, good stuff. And we go over, take a look at him. I pick him up, throw the tag on him really quick, and we bring him right back where we're set up there and conceal him, because that third Tom is still in the field, and, well, he's not in the field anymore. He kind of putts off, but he's gobbling in the meadow right on the other side of the property line.
Right. He ain't but 60, 80 yards away behind the trees, and we know it. As soon as he ripped off that gobble, we realized how close we still were to another one potentially being able to be called out.
And so we're trying to coax this gobbler back in, and finally, we're all facing south, right? All three of us, and you're facing kind of southwest. Garrett and I are both facing pretty much straight south, and I see something out of the corner of my eye, and at this point in time, that Tom is kind of working away, and I think Garrett said it first. He's like, that one's gone. And I agree with him. I don't think that Tom was going to come back after two of his buddies get blown away.
No, those original couple gobbles were just, locators, or just, him just making some. But they, after about 5, maybe not even 5 minutes, we realized that they were starting to faint away, and that was the moment to be had, right?
Yeah. And then we're sitting there, and there's gobbles all around us, So we probably heard between 5 and 8 turkeys this morning, I would say. We had the triple that we were playing with. We had the couple, I don't know if they were a part of the triple.
Behind us to the north.
Behind us. And we were covered up in turkeys, and it was a great morning. Yep. Nice, crisp, cold morning. It was 35 degrees this morning.
Still air,
we woke up.
super
Just
nice.
Beautiful. No wind, no rain. It was awesome. Turkey hunter's dream, right? But then we're sitting there, and it's about 8 minutes, I would say, between the time where we scooped up my bird and brought him back to us. And we're still trying to work this other bird, or one of the multiple birds that we're hearing around us, into our setup again.
Mind you, this is just after 6 o'clock in the morning, too.
Yeah.
When we say this happened fast, this happened really fast.
Yep. So the sun is just rising, right? Mm-hmm. It's just rising when this is all happening and occurring. And out of not really the corner of my eye, but the way I'm facing, I just see something. And I see something that looks like, if you've ever seen a hen or a tom flap their wings and kind of shake off, that's what I thought was happening. Was like, I saw the underside of a white wing, and it was about 200 some yards away on the other side of the field, straight away from us, and I just saw it. I just saw a glimpse of it. And so I get up on my knees, and I ask Alan and Garrett, I'm like, did you guys see that? And they don't see it, just because it's in a weird spot. And I don't think if I wouldn't have been staring that way, I wouldn't have seen it. Like,
Definitely
it was just
not.
one of those things that caught my eye really faintly, like when you're in the rut.
Yeah, if you were in my position, I don't even know if it would have happened at all. But what I remember distinctly was the way that you got like tense. You something alerted you. I mean, because your shoulders postured up, you sat up a little bit more, and then you were very attentive at that moment as to something going on.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that really, like, I was going through the Rolodex of information in my head. I'm like, all right, a little bird is not that big. Then I was thinking, all right, a crane or a stork or something like that. I'm like, there's no body of water really near here. Why would they be here? I was thinking a goose could maybe look like that, but we would have heard him honk. We would have seen him fly into the field. Majority of the time, there's going to be more, geese are going to travel in a group anyway. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was a turkey flopping. So I get up on my knees, I can't see anything. I get up on my feet, I can't see anything. And you and Garrett are like, what the hell is he doing? Because there's turkeys that are around. Like there's turkeys within our bubble. And by the bubble, I mean within 200 yards. So they're like, what are you doing? So I'm like, guys, I just saw a turkey, what looked to be like a turkey flop over there. And so on the other side of the field, we take our guns, and sure as shit,
yes,
there's your bird right there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what your eyes had seen, because neither one of us had seen it. And I was scanning the field. I mean, because I was looking south as well, because the birds had come from, the south or the southwest area, right? And I'm like, I'm waiting for that same gobbler who reacted and went into that other field over there to come back out from the southwest. So I'm positioned in the same area and looking downrange, similar to you.
Yep.
But just by pure luck, your vantage point, your eyes, or whatever,
just pure luck,
just completely picked that up. And yet still we're moving. And even as we moved down the field, I still didn't see what you had saw until we got up on it, and was like, Garrett and I could not believe what you had seen, because again, it was a millisecond of a bird flap, and you guys have seen a bird flap at some point. That doesn't happen fast. It's not a prolonged thing. I mean, bird flap is a bird flap, and it's over just as fast as you can say it, right? So because originally when I took the shot and it went flying up into the air, I watched it come down back into the field.
Yep.
But again, I took my eyes off, so I never really actually watched it walk off, run off, like the other one did. We saw him take off and then leave the field. We watched him run off, even though we took our eyes onto the bird that you had shot. But I watched him just hit the ground. That was it. Never once thought anything of it until you started posturing up and you became very alert, very attentive as to something was going on. And then we made our way down the field, and sure as shit, that bird was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he had some, a few BBs in his boobs there. Some BBs in his legs. Like I said, Garrett had said, like, when we had initially had that happen, like, I think he shot a little low. And I think just because most turkey guns, and I will say, like, it's not like a rifle pull, it's not like a smooth pull. It's more of a punchy trigger, I would say, on most stock turkey guns, and that's kind of the way our gun is as well. It's got like a 5-pound trigger on it, so it's not like a hairpin trigger like a nice rifle is. So you do have to.
You're squeezing it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to use the word punch, because people out there are going to be like, well, don't punch the trigger then.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It's got to be a swift, assertive sweep. Yeah. Like, you got to pull it.
Yeah, you're squeezing. You're making a fist when you pull that trigger.
So I just think that little pull, like with how close those turkeys were, your pattern's as big as a baseball bat, softball at that point, so there is not a very big margin of error when you're shooting at a turkey that's like literally sub 20 yards, because your pattern is still so packed tight. Versus a turkey at like 30 or 40 yards, where you've got a more forgiving pattern. You're still getting a ton of BBs in the head when you pattern a gun at 30 and 40 yards with a turkey load, but at 10 yards especially, they might have been sub 10 yards. It could have been, I don't know, we didn't step it off.
No, we didn't step it off, but coaching football and doing a lot of things in this world, I do believe we were actually inside of it, or just at the threshold of 10 yards. I wouldn't even say it was 11 to 12. I mean, because Teddy, it's a matter of steps away, and if you take, you're 6'4", so you're pretty tall, but if it's 5, 6, 7 steps for you, I mean, we're within 10 yards at that particular point. I mean, through excitement, through the shot, through it all, I raised the gun up and what have you, but the way that the bird that I shot at started to come in front of another bird also at that particular time, stood up and what have you, I think just through the pure excitement, when I went to pull the trigger, I probably dropped it before I pulled the trigger.
Sure.
Which, because my left to right was spot on. I shot it literally between the legs of a turkey. So, I mean, left to right, you couldn't have been any better. Right? So, but nonetheless, up and down vertical is what makes the difference, right? You got to shoot right at the base of the neck, and I know that, right? So that was the frustrating part, because through talking about, are you good? You ready? You know where you're going to aim? Yes, I know I'm going to go based on. I mean, I know it, right? So when you know something, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't play out,
then you're like, shit.
There's some editing that's going to go on, because
some defeated, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously that part is not the plan, especially when you have as textbook of a situation that could be, right? You come down, I drive down here, I see these guys, we planned this for months, and the scenario that you can perfectly write out happens, right? And it's on film. We have the three of us that are there. It's a great morning. Everything is just working in your favor.
Totally.
And the first shot is just, and we didn't do the 1, 2, 3 because Grant was like, you know what, I'm going to let you shoot your bird first, because they were close enough that it could have been a 1, then a 2 type of shot, right?
Yep.
So he's like, you take the one on the left, you make the first shot. So it was a little like, it is defeating to a certain degree, right? Because that's not the intended goal is to wound, hurt, or anything like that. It's to drop that sucker as fast as freaking possible. I mean, you lay the smoke on him and you drop him, you barrel roll him if possible.
Yeah.
But it did work out in the long run. I mean, there was contact, but nonetheless, it wasn't. But yeah, I split the doggone turkeys with the spread, the turkey legs with the spread. Because looking back on the video, you look back on it and you can see where one leg, kind of gets broke, but you can see the pattern just literally shoot between the legs. And I mean, that's just, it's intense. That's still intense, but, barrel rolling him would have been absolutely incredible.
And that's what I was expecting, right? I was thinking like, all right, he's going to pull this turkey and he's just going to flop it, and I'm going to watch it flop. And when I didn't see it flop, and then all three of them go running away, I saw the one hard to the left, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to clean this one up. Boom, boom. And I shot at him when he was running first. I don't think I needed to shoot a second time, but I did. So I shot at him. And funny fact, Garrett bought a shotgun for Logan and Allie to use. So I think if I would have been using the gun that we normally use, Garrett and I's Winchester, I'd had to rack a shell. And by the time I would have racked, I think I would have been like, oh, that bird's flopping. Don't need to shoot him again. But the fact that it's a semi-auto and it's not a pump, I just went boom, boom, just real quick, 1, 2.
Yeah, you popped off too. By the time I racked mine, you had already had your second shot off.
Yeah, and so I don't think I need to shoot again. But he was kind of mangled because as the turkey's running away, I'm just aiming kind of at the waddle, but more realistically for center of mass, and so I ended up body shotting him a little bit. But lucky as it I may be, I didn't end up getting any BBs in the breast because he was kind of a side profile running away. So so that was good. But like I said, I was hoping that what was going to happen was you're going to shoot, boom, roll that one, and the other two, as toms sometimes do when one gets shot, they're going to come flog the tom that's dead,
because the communication was there. We knew. I mean, through what you were saying, and we had agreed upon, entering the field, the way that they kind of spread left and right, because they came in on a line, then they kind of opened themselves up, 1, 2, 3. You take the left. The communication was totally there. I mean, it was understood who was to take what and how it was all supposed to go down. But then all freaking hell breaks loose when you don't make the doggone shot in the first place, right? Because now everything's reaction at that point. It's not what you planned for; it's how you're going to react to the situation. And the reaction on your behalf was great. I mean, it's you shot out and did exactly what you needed to do. Throw some lead down range and drop that sucker because now we can't, because now you can't let them go, right now they're still within,
it's still an opportunity,
they're still 10-12 yards at this particular point. Like let's not get it twisted. As soon as I shot, they didn't just they hooked to their right, but they stayed on the same line. So I mean, at this particular point, your shot is 11 yards. They're still right in front of you. You have to shoot.
Still
there's no
sub
question.
20.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, call it sub 20. But there's no question at this particular point that you need to take your shot because you still have the tag and these beautiful toms. All three were big toms. Let's not get it twisted. Any one of those is a great tom to shoot. Period.
That tom that you shot, man, it's been a while since we've shot a bird. Garrett and I were talking about it. We call Garrett's biggest bird he's ever called. I call him Hookzilla.
Yeah.
But It's been a while since we shot a turkey with like impressive spurs like the one that you shot. Like we're talking phenomenal first tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you, like way bigger than the first tom that I ever got. And Garrett and I were saying, man, those freaking spurs, like they're thick spurs, they're pointy at the end.
Yeah,
like it's not like
a quarter.
Yeah, it's not like a air quote 2-year-old bird. I've been seeing that come through the airwaves lately, and people trying to age turkeys, and I'm like, come on, guys, who gives a shit? As long as they got a full fan in them, let's let them.
We
Let's let
talked
them
about
fry.
that too, and I understand. Like
So,
the way you
like,
explained it with the spurs is one thing, but like I agree. Leave the age alone. Talk about inches. Talk about size. Talk about the spurs. Talk about your beard length, and leave it at that.
Right.
My opinion.
Yeah,
right. So
same here. So that was a sweet morning, and just talk about the again. We talk about the roller coasters of hunting, right? And why it's such an addicting sport. Why we all love it so much is just because we've got this opportunity. Like you're gonna roll this tom, picture perfect, come cruising in. It wasn't like a tentative tom that was taking his time. Like they came right in at us.
Yeah, they weren't looking to see what was around the area.
No,
they
not
were
at
looking
all.
at Teddy, and they were fixing to do something with him, to him, or whatever.
They were
never
ready for a fight.
They never looked past him.
No.
At all. We could have sat there, and to go back just slightly a little bit, and to Garrett's point, again, to your point, right, hindsight is always 20/20. We could do this all day long,
right?
But they never looked past Teddy. They weren't curious as to the situation at hand. Yep. They were coming to just circle him and start dropping spurs and trying to knock that thing out, as clean as they could.
Yeah,
and that was the only thing on their mind. And again, looking back on it, it is what it is. But nonetheless, like they were still with sub 20, 10 yards, right in front, spread out. Communication was there. You let them have it, right? Because that's what you do. That's what you set out for, is to knock them down, right? So
yeah, it's kind of like what I was thinking about when Garrett was like, you should have let him play in the decoys a little bit more. I was thinking about that, and I was kind of like thinking, all right, well, when a buck's approaching our decoy from like the downwind side, we're gonna shoot him as soon as he's in range, type of thing. And maybe we could have been a little bit more patient, and then we could have got a better 1, 2, 3 opportunity. But I didn't really. I was going into the morning mentally prepared. I do not want a 1, 2, 3 opportunity. I want you to shoot and flatten a bird, and then I'll clean up.
Right.
If they get close enough and I still have a shot, I'll take it.
Yep.
I wasn't preparing to go, all right, are you on him? I'm on him. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah, we joked about it, but we weren't. That wasn't the game plan.
No, the game plan is a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. You whack a bird, and then if there is one still within killable distance, then I'll take a shot. But which is exactly what happened. So I'm glad. But I will say, like when I was looking through my scope, I was like, man, shoot.
Yeah.
None of those toms are flopping, rolling like right here.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, I was really expecting that tom to be dead,
I
rolling,
thought about
flapping
that.
in the dust right there.
I thought about that. And I thought about it, and I have thought about this now at this point several doggone times about what it must have been to see that not get barrel rolled at that distance with with the shotgun I'm using and the setup I'm using and everything like that. But it's. You can't change it. You just got to be grateful for what ended up happening. But yeah, I can only imagine that split second of decision making, of adjustment period, of oh shit, he really did this. He missed.
All three are alive. Here we go. Gotta go.
Yeah, basically, like you're just an instinctive reaction at that particular point, And again, looking at it too, right? We could sit here and go, oh well, we could have let him play, but what if one of them postured up to Teddy, right? Do a spur on him, realizing that it was a fake thing, didn't knock him down, and they just scattered at that point. And now we're trying to shoot him on the run as they're trying to vacate the area. I mean, there's a lot of variables that we can discuss as to what could have happened.
There definitely are.
Because it could have went south. It could have went completely south. Maybe if they postured up and one of them got a little curious and decided to look over and realize that they were in a bad position, and now they all just 3 of them scatter. And I mean, but who knows that none of it happened? But
who knows?
We could go through these scenarios over and over and over all day long. But the fact remains is face to face is face to face, and
And we got 2 dead toms. We got them cleaned up, took them back, went and grabbed some breakfast. breasted
Good
them
breakfast,
out.
by the way.
Yeah,
that was a
really
good
good
spot.
breakfast. Shout out to Luby's in Andalusia, right down the hill from Garrett's house. We go there all the time during deer
Country
season.
Skillet. I know that's random, but good stuff.
Country fried steak, delicious. And went down there, got your bird cleaned up, got the spurs cleaned off, got the beard off. You took a bunch of meat. You're going to be taking it home. How are you going to cook it?
So I'm going to smoke one of the breast, 100%. I'm going to put it in the smoker. I'm going to give it a couple hours, and I'm going to slice it nice and thin, and we're going to have a nice smoked dinner with one of them.
Ooh,
absolutely, for sure. So I keep the drums and the thighs as well. I know that's a 50-50 gamble with some people and what have you. So because all my meat was in good condition,
right? Yeah,
I was able to keep the thighs. So I'm going to slow cook the dark meat. Definitely do the crock pot. Definitely do like low and slow. Give it a 6-8 hour type of cook with some veggies and some potatoes, almost like a stew basically. One of those breasts is by all means absolutely going on the smoker. 100%. Going to put some applewood on it and put a marinade on it for a little bit. I don't think I'll do an injection because it's on the smoker.
That is going to be fucking good.
Yeah, I'm going to do a nice dry rub and smoke the shit out of it. And then, you know what I have thought, and I haven't talked to you about it yet, so I might as well bring it up now, is I'm almost toying with maybe doing a jerky. I've never done a turkey jerky before.
I have one time. It was not too bad. I used some High Mountain. You guys have you ever been to Blaine's Farm and Fleet or like a Walmart or something? You'd probably seen High Mountain deer jerky seasoning. So I used some of that for turkeys, and I cut it into thin strips and made some turkey jerky to take with me camping when I go to Wyoming and on my fly fishing trips every summer. And I took some of that with me, and it was not too bad.
Yeah,
it was not too bad.
Yeah. So and my wife likes it. If I don't do the jerky part, I'll probably ground up the other breast because my wife is a big fan of ground turkey. She likes making ground turkey tacos and stuff like that. So we'll probably keep it simple. But one of those is absolutely unequivocally going to sit in that smoker for a good several hours.
Garrett and Logan been on the kick where they've been grinding all their turkeys and grinding the breasts and using the ground turkey just because, they're both real health conscious and really like the ground turkey. Can make it tacos and yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Really anything you can use for like hamburger helper and you're browning something and cooking it in, which is awesome, like turkey chili, etc. And Garrett and I were joking that this morning, because we had thought originally when I had shot that turkey that I did, because some feathers did fly. I did not hit it like, when a turkey's clucking away, how their neck is like cocked back. It's not like up and alert.
Yeah, right.
Like the oh shit moment for a turkey is when I like to shoot them when they're like looking around and their head is fully extended. I can pepper the wattle and, break their spine and they flop right there. But, obviously when a turkey's going off and running away, I put it at what I thought was the wattle, and I ended up hitting it a little bit back and down of the wattle, which was kind of the top of its spine there. But originally, like when the feathers were flying, Garrett's like, "There's going to be a shitload of BBs in that breast." We were joking about like feeding it through the grinder. He's like, "You're not feeding that son of a bitch through the grinder."
No,
we're going to stop our grinder.
Definitely thought it was going to be riddled with BBs at that point, which it actually wasn't.
Got really lucky that it wasn't.
Yeah, it
got
wasn't
really
at all.
lucky.
And both your breasts are in good condition.
Yeah,
you got all the meat that you wanted to get out of it.
Big thick breasts, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Some butterball breast right there, baby.
Yeah. So that was a hell of a good hunt. I'm glad you got your first tom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Made another memory. Same spot that actually you killed your doe with
2 for 2
earlier. Yeah. 2 for 2 on like what, a 45-minute hunt both times?
Yeah, so that was the part, right? Yeah, so my deer hunt, I came down here with Garrett and had a doe opportunity, first shotgun slug, 150-ish yards or what have you.
Yeah.
That was about 45 minutes maybe, right? And then this one again was between listening to first gobble and first shot, I don't even know if we hit the 45 mark. And if we did, we hit just at 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Basically.
It was just textbook, picture perfect. Put the birds to bed last night. Just in a phenomenal spot. They're not forever in a day roosted some convoluted place where we're going to have to play ball and kill them at 9 or 10 after they've shut down, found their first 10, and now we are on their second gobble, what Garrett and I like to call it. We're not doing a midday bird type setup. It's just these birds we're just in a great spot.
Yeah, prepared.
Yeah.
It was prepared. Let's put it that way. That's probably the best way to phrase it as is. This hunt was prepared for. We put him to bed last night, so there's a subtle confidence that comes with that.
Yeah.
Just go in there, be quiet, do your thing, and just wait it out and let it happen, right? And that's exactly what did happen.
Yeah. So shifting gears, it's would you rather time. You ready?
I was wondering if I was wondering. Yeah,
I got some good ones here, some tough ones. So number one, this bow season's coming up. This is 5th season in Illinois. By the way, Illinois residents, if you're listening to this, which I know a lot of you are, about 80% of our listeners are from Illinois. Go figure. Buy your second lottery shotgun tags and muzzleloader tags. They just went on sale last Monday, about a week ago when this is airing. So you guys can get into the second lottery now. If you forgot to get your tags during first lottery, you can apply for second lottery right now. And get your second choice for your muzzleloader, firearm, or both of those options. So make sure you apply for the lottery. But speaking about deer, would you rather, this year coming up, kill a piebald doe, meaning like a spotted white, up to a certain point, like a half albino doe, or a buck, he's the same caliber as your biggest buck? Which would you rather shoot of those two?
Wow. You know what? The piebald, because that's you can always, if you work hard enough, find another buck to that caliber. You can't work hard enough to find another piebald. So I'd have to shoot it.
That's kind of like that's like a one in a lifetime kind of thing, I feel like. And because of that, there's certain people that are way against shooting piebald deer just because
there are,
like,
yeah.
I don't think
I'm not one of them.
No,
I'm not either.
I think if a buck or a doe that was piebald come walking by, I would have to shoot it, and I would probably do my due diligence really slow, and I would get that sucker maybe fully mounted.
As a hunter, you wait for those once-in-a-lifetime moments, whether it be the biggest buck or a big doe
or maybe a drop tine, like Matt.
Yeah, buddy.
Bastard killed two.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so my buddy Jimmy shot a nice 9-inch drop tine this year. I've seen a couple of them happen, but you wait for that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as a hunter, and that piebald would be it for me.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. The second question I have for you here, it's a good one as well. Would you rather shoot an antelope or a mule deer?
Mule deer.
Why?
Size, stature,
just everything. Looks kind of like a whitetail.
Yeah, I think they both equally have their success stories with them. I mean, antelope, you're in the open plains. I mean, there's a lot that comes with that too. But mule deer they're big animals, and they're just as tough to hunt. So, and I think I could relate it more to whitetail hunting than antelope hunting. So I think my instinctive value goes to shoot the big antler, right? So, but I would probably go with a muley, a big old muley.
Big old muley.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one, I think this is the hardest one on the spread. Better buckle down for this one. Would you rather be able to never hunt deer again, ever, or never be able to do anything else outdoor related? We're talking fishing, turkey, mushrooms, coyotes, anything else. So would you rather only hunt deer your entire life and literally nothing else, or never hunt deer but you can do everything else?
I'm hunting deer.
Yeah?
100%.
So you're ditching turkeys, coyotes,
everything.
Mule deer, antelope,
everything.
All the other things.
Deer's my first passion. Deer's my passion. Deer's what I think about. Deer's what drives me. Like, I like the turkey. I like it all. But like, even this morning, I'm like hoping to see a deer come walking out the woods. I'm hoping to see this or that. Like, deer drives me 1,000%.
Yeah.
So let me rebuttal this. I don't know if everybody's ever rebutted the question back to you, but since that is such a good one,
rarely happens.
Let me ask you. All right, what would you do in that position? What's your answer to that question?
My answer to that question is that I would probably take the other. I love whitetails, and Garrett and I have had a ton of good memories together, sharing tree time. But now at this point in our lives, we've killed probably about 25 what I would call nice deer together.
Yeah.
And
looking at some of them now, they're pretty nice.
And Garrett and I think we're we're good. You know, like if somebody cut our whitetails off right now and we're like, you guys can't hunt whitetails ever again, I think we'd be all right. And I think he and I would just both like, boom, move out west and not even think twice about it and just go.
Okay.
And I know that it's a huge learning curve. And if there's anybody out west that's listening to this, you know, I'm saying this with a huge grain of salt. I know that the learning curve for hunting elk is not easy. It's very hard to hunt elk. It's very hard to hunt antelope with a bow. It is very hard to hunt mule deer and kill big mule deer consistently. But I would rather go take that challenge than just be pigeonholed to one thing, because I would really love to go kill a caribou. Cody and I were actually talking about that the other day. I would love to go kill 5 or 10 more mule deer in my life. A caribou is high on the list. It's the next thing on my bucket list. So I think I would take the other, only because Garrett and I have been blessed with more than enough opportunities at some great memories in the whitetail woods.
Right, and I'm still kind of.
But if I was at your stage, though,
yes, that's what I was going to come back with.
I would be pretty. It would be much harder. It'd be a much harder question for me if I was, 8-10 years ago.
It is, because I'm not at my peak, my pinnacle. I don't have those giants on the wall yet, so I'm still yearning to get what I sought after first. So my vision is only to that point. You know, like
us neither. We're still trying to kill giants. We've killed a couple of them, but
I mean, moose is my dream hunt, like we discussed earlier. But
God, moose.
I looked at it from a practical standpoint. I can get at deer before I can get at anything else too, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
I would go.
I like that.
That is a great. That's a hot.
It's only based on time, though.
It is, and the more I'm thinking about that question, the more I'm realizing how hard that is to actually answer, and how great of a question that is. You know, because there's a lot that goes to that. But my answer is my answer.
It's a tough question. On to the next one then. This is an easier question, but would you rather? I don't know if it's easier or not, but it kind of it depends on your perception of both these places. Would you rather hunt deer this next year if you can only draw a tag in one state and it's either Maine or Florida? Which one would you rather hunt?
So I've lived in both, and I'm going with
Maine.
What?
You've lived in Maine?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've lived in Florida?
Yeah.
Where the hell haven't you lived? You lived in Maine, Florida, Boston.
Yeah. Texas.
Chicago, Texas.
Virginia, South Carolina, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Mass.
Jesus.
I'm
all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that going into that question. I just learned something new about you. All right.
Because there are some big deer in Maine. The thing about Maine, though, is like 80% of it is uninhabited in thick, dense woods. So to get to them would be an incredible feat and a challenge. But I would absolutely go to Maine because I like being in the hard timbers and in the forest and in the woods. So to me, that would be it. I know there's some good swamp bucks down in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's unequivocally big swamp bucks down there. But the woods and the forest is where my heart's at. So I would go with Maine.
I think I would go with Maine too, just for the sheer reason that it's not hotter than hell in Maine.
That's another.
I just don't like hunting when it's really hot. It's just miserable to hunt whitetails.
I would agree.
On those days where it's like 88 degrees on opening day, and Garrett and I are calling each other after work like, we're gonna go out there. We gonna try to sneak out there tonight, and we're like, nah.
Sitting in a tree full of mosquitoes. I'm good.
I don't know if it's worth it just because our bucks aren't gonna be on their feet for quite a while after dark. But
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree.
Okay, your next one. This is kind of a tricky one, too. Would you rather go on an out-of-state hunt for a coos deer? You familiar with a coos deer?
I am.
A little tiny, an 80-inch coos deer, a big coos deer, right? Would you rather hunt a coos deer out of state or do a thermal coyote hunt? Decision. That was kind of tricky.
Yeah, this is a little bit more, you know what? I'm going to go with a yote hunt because I feel like it would be a little bit more I'm going to go with the coyote. It's a little bit more hands-on. It's a little bit more vocal. It's a little bit more action-packed. I'm going with the coyote for a couple reasons. So, coos deer I know of. Not a whole hell of a lot about it, but the coyote hunting excites me. Like I told you even earlier a couple of times, it's on my list. That's one of the next few things I'm trying to get into. So
no doubt.
I'm going thermal coyote hunt. That's pretty exciting.
I would rather do that too. I've looked through a thermal just once really in my life. Was actually when we were tracking a deer. One of our buddies had a thermal monocular. And so I've never actually looked through one at night and had the experience of a coyote come bombing in, from 1,000 yards away at night, and you can see that thermal trace the whole way in. I think that would be so damn fun.
Yeah, so you're calling them in, see them come in all hot, the thermal. The thermal is what adds to that aspect right there.
Yeah, just being able to see them at night and call a coyote in when it's, just under cover of darkness, which to the coyote thinks he's very, very safe.
Of course.
I would love to see a coyote put themselves in that state of vulnerability. I think that would be really cool.
And hunting at night was just pretty badass to begin with at all. You don't get that opportunity all that many times either. So
not very much. So that kind of takes us to the end here. Some announcements, though. Throwback Thursday, we're going to run a couple more of those for turkey season. So those will be out at 7 p.m. on Thursdays on our YouTube channel. So for those of you guys that have recently been subscribing and liking our videos, watching it, stuff like that, thank you. We really, really, really appreciate that. Our turkey film dropped from last year, last Saturday. So go check that out. It's still less than 10 days old. Killed a ton of birds, lots of good stories. Lots of cool moments, lots of really nice, cool memories between Garrett, I, and the rest of the team last year. Last Breath Live, which the hunt that we've been talking about, filmed on a GoPro this morning. That'll be live next Saturday at 7 a.m. So when this podcast releases on Monday, the would have been 10th, it'll be coming out on the 16th there on Saturday. So you guys can see how this all went down and how it shook out. And finally, our launch party. It's on July 23rd. Yes. It's coming up. It's not very far away. 2 and some change months and counting. Free beer, free gear, 30-plus taxidermy deer heads in our deer show, courtesy of Wayne Tompkins and Tompkins Taxidermy, which we are going to run a badass new thing for the next launch party we have, hopefully in 2022 with Wayne next year. And we've talked to Wayne about, like, hey, can you do more heads? Can you do more heads? Because we had 15 people that took them there this year, and Wayne ended up doing extra, and those dudes just freaking mount deer up like it's their damn job. They're
incredible.
They're
some great work done there.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a ton of fun with a lot of like-minded hunters in downtown Davenport. Our tickets are being printed right now. We will be really soon releasing where you can pick those up at, and we'll be introducing something new where you can actually will call tickets online. So that way for you and people that are from the Chicagoland area or from out of state and not relative to Illinois or, Southeast Iowa where the show is going to be, you'll be able to go online and just type in your name, Alan Yates, this many tickets, boom.
Perfect.
And
That's
you
a
can
great
pick them up
idea.
at a disc. So that way you guys that aren't local at our local drop-off points, pick up ticket points, you guys can get those and just pick them up to show. So we'll have a will call desk waiting, and we're going to print, I think Garrett and I determined we're printing 3,500 tickets. So There's going to be some people there now, and you guys aren't going to want to miss that. Finally, if you guys would like a discount, anything on Badlands gear, 30% site-wide, just message any one of us. We all have it. We just don't want the code floating out there. So if you're any supporter of ours, that's a big give back and thank you. Lots of times when we talk to these companies about, hey, we got a discount code for you guys, they'll throw something like 10 or 15, which just basically cuts off tax or cuts off shipping, however you look at it. But we really dug and tried to get you guys something that was like, all right, 30%, that's legit. Like that'll save you a couple $100 if you're buying a Pyre suit from Badlands or something like that.
It's almost a 30 a purchase. That's incredible to have.
So we're pretty proud of that, to be able to offer that. And we also have an Outdoor Edge discount code, which is all caps, LBTV, as in Last Breath TV, 25. LBTV 25. And if you're interested, you could use that on Outdoor Edge site-wide. Other than that, until I see you next time, any words of the wise, what are you doing next?
Next is deer prepping. Food plot building. Going to build my first food plot in Indiana. I'm going to add on and help a friend of mine, Jimmy, out in Michigan, continue on with that food plot. But now the gear is switched. Now I have my Tom under my belt, and I am 100% switching on to deer mode, basically starting as of like next weekend. I will be taking a trip to Indiana. So I'm ready I'm ready. Deer is on the mind. We're on it.
That's right. It's early May, so you got all May, June, July, August, September, and most states are opening up sometime in September, October. So you've got 4.5 to 5 months to get out there and get it done. Get all those preps done that you thought you were going to change last year. All those advantages that you were like, man, I think we could improve our hunting if we just do these things. And you got about 5 months to get her done. So,
and that's where I'm at right now, is making adjustments from last year. Last year I learned a lot, so this year I want to make all my adjustments as to what I learned, and then just let the season play out the way it is and continue to learn and grow and be, develop into the hunter I'm trying to be.
Yep, and most of the people that listen to our podcast already do follow you, but if they're interested in being like, oh man, this guy's really cool, because just a little quick sidebar, I'll plug you because I think what you do is really cool. Alan's the only person I know, and if you think about yourself, I think that you'll fall in the same boat as me and as Garrett and basically everyone else I know other than you. Somebody got you into hunting that was either a dad, a grandpa, an uncle, a male or female member that's in your family, or a close family friend that took you under your wing and got you in at an early age. That's how the large majority of hunters start. But you are about 40 years old, and you just said, this looks really fucking awesome. I'm going to try this. I want to try this. I see people get out there getting after it, and they're so passionate about this. I want some of this for myself. So that's you, and I just think it's really cool that you just totally took the dive. So where can people find you at on social media?
I appreciate that, man. I really do. So I'm on Instagram, Alan, ALAN _ Yates, YATES. My hashtag and handle is Journey to the Hunt, and that's exactly what it is. I'm on a journey to become the best hunter I can be, and I'm a late onset hunter, quote unquote, is what they call it. But yeah, this is my passion. I'm tired of watching it, and I decided to dive in and learn from the best, and just hence the reason why I'm sitting here in front of you. You know what I mean?
I don't know about the best by a stretch.
Well, learning from who I believe is good in the industry for a lot of different reasons. But yeah, you can find me at Alan _ Yates and Journey to the Hunt on Instagram, and I mess around with Facebook every once in a while too. But you'll typically find me on Instagram. But Alan Yates on Facebook and Alan Yates _ on Instagram there. And
all right,
Journey to the Hunt, my friend.
Thanks for coming on. Congrats on your Tom, and we'll see you next time, everybody. And always remember, every set of moments is pretty precious. Don't waste it.